What a season it has been. And it all boils down to one game. Yes, the Niners and the Chiefs have moved on to play in Vegas, Super Bowl 58, to decide who will be the best team of the 2023-2024 NFL season. Before we get to that, though, right? We got some time. We got an entire week. We're gonna break down the power rankings of these teams. Yes, the rest of these NFL teams, 32-3. We're breaking it all down. We're giving you our power rankings. So, I mean, come on, man. What is up? Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of The Good and the Bad, the Ugly. You know what time it is. It is time for us to review this NFL season. Yes, we are down to one game. So that means 29 or 20, 20, 30 other teams. 30 other teams have had their say and where they land in this season's power rankings. So we are going to break it all down. So without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back to another edition of The Good and the Bad, the Ugly. You know what time it is. It is time to review this NFL season. We're going 32-3. We are breaking down the power rankings of these teams. And of course, we're leaving two spots because we still got one game to decide who is going to be number one and number two. Hi, how's it going? I am Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys. And as always, joining me to break down this action, to review the power rankings, he's none other than one of my best friends. He is the other half of the Sports Guys. He is Mr. Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, excited to, go through these, the power rankings. Obviously a lot of unexpected teams this year. Different, obviously some things did not go the way we thought that they would. And surprisingly, and obviously we had some, some really cool stories this season. So excited to get into that.
Yeah, I like it. Yes, the stories were incredible this season, and we are going to get into most of those storylines during this breakdown. I can't wait. But before we do that, let's quickly remind you how we did last week. Let's put it up on the screen. It was only 2 games, right? We went 1-1, no guaranteed victories, right? We both picked the Niners. We had the Ravens advancing, but the Chiefs had other ideas. Niners Chiefs advanced to the Super Bowl. It's that easy with the records. Let's wipe this off the screen and let's get to it. 32-3. Here we go. You ready, my friend?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. We're going to break it down nice and easy. Give me 32-27. Who do you got?
Starting off, I got obviously the Carolina Panthers. I think that goes without saying.
Okay.
They were, definitely really struggled this year. Obviously they thought that they were going to turn things around with Bryce Young, but obviously a lot of things are going wrong with them, including their owner. So we'll just have to see. But they're kind of where I thought maybe they'd be more around the 27-26 mark, but just adding a new quarterback. But I'm not really surprised that they're at that 32 spot. Moving down to the 31 spot, I got the New England Patriots. I just think that they had an awful season. I just think that, anything that could go wrong for them, starting with Mac Jones. And we thought maybe that Bailey Zappi gimmick would work out for them. But Belichick's worst probably season of his entire career happened this year, and it led to his departure. So obviously New England, they really need to obviously rebuild that entire organization out. And you knew it happened at some point, though. I mean, a team that won 6 Super Bowls, and eventually, the way the NFL works is you're never gonna stay good for forever, unless you're the Steelers. You have a winning season every year. Moving on to number 30, we got the Washington Commanders. They had just a really lousy season overall. I mean, I think they really struggled to really get anything going. I know they kept some divisional opponents kind of in the mix, but they they got blown out a lot.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's some. I think there was a close game with them in Philly, and they won a couple of games, but not anything worthy of really noting. And then moving on to 29, I have the Chargers. I think the Chargers had a really bad season. I was not impressed with anything about them. We'll have to see if Harbaugh can turn things around. I know
Yeah.
he'll probably be able to help Justin Herbert out. I think for sure he'll be able to help him out. Obviously, Harbaugh has a lot of experience with turning quarterbacks around. But yeah, I got them at number 29. And then at 28, I have the the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, they kind of redeemed themselves a little bit. That's why I'm not going to put them back at 30 or 31.
Yep.
They had a big win against the Philadelphia Eagles to help us clinch that number one seed. They ended the year, I think they lost to Seattle. So yeah, they got things going, but just a little bit too late. And so yeah, I gotta put them there at 28. And then at 27, I'm going to go ahead and put the New York Giants there. I think the New York Giants had a decent end to the season, I would say. Like there was a few games there that they played well. I know they beat Philly, so there's a couple other games, but yeah, it was a bad start for them this season. I mean, they got blown out by Dallas. I think it was 45-0 or something like that to start the year. It was just it was a totally different, I was expecting them to be more towards the middle. With Daniel Jones, I thought that they were going to be better this year, but hey, the NFL is definitely unexpected. You never know what's going to happen, but I expected more from the Giants, but I'll put them at 27.
Okay, I like it. Yeah. So for 32, I'm actually going to go with the New England Patriots based on going into the season, what was projected versus what was delivered. I think the New England Patriots ended up being the worst team in the league. I know the Panthers obviously had their struggles, but where Mac Jones was supposed to be, Bill Belichick, where he's supposed to be, everything that all the expectations going in with New England, definitely the most disappointing result out of all the teams, I think. So for that reason, I'm putting New England as the dead last team, which would mean that I'm making Carolina 31. Then we're going Washington at 30. Then we're going to go the Chargers at 29. And then we're going to go the Cardinals at 28. And then at 27, yes, we're going to go with the New York Football Giants. I mean, you invested all this money in Daniel Jones, and I mean, he got off to a piss poor start. Saquon Barkley dealing with injuries, finally able to get kind of something going with Danny DeVito, but I mean, it was a clown show all season there. I mean, both New York teams, it was a clown show, but at least one team kind of stood up a little bit taller. But still, New York Giants going to come in at 27. All right, 26-19. What do you got for me? No, 26-21. Excuse me. 26-21. Excuse me.
So for 26, I got the Atlanta Falcons. I think that they just very underwhelmed. I thought they were going to do better. Just a horrible ending to their season. They were like the most inconsistent team of the season. So I got to put them there at 26. 25, this was a tough one, but I had to roll with the for 25. I got to roll with the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are, just I had higher expectations for them. I thought they were going to do better, especially with Will Levis doing good coming in, towards the middle of the season. I thought that they were going to be able to turn things around. And then 24, I am going with the New York Jets. The New York Jets, they had a rough season too. And then 22, 23. I got to go with the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they had a pretty bad year. I expected more with adding Sean Payton. I thought they were going to be in the playoffs, honestly. So, just with, where we're at. And then 22, I'm gonna go with the Raiders. The Raiders had a pretty decent season. I don't want to put them too high or too low. But I think that, with adding Antonio Pierce, they had a good back end of the year, and
Yeah.
they were able to beat the Chiefs and Arrowhead. That was a big highlight for them.
It was definitely.
They haven't done that in a while.
Nope.
And then 21, 21, I got to go with the Minnesota Vikings. I just think that, just a rough year. And obviously we know why. They lost their quarterback, and Justin Jefferson hurt. So, yeah.
I like it. Yeah. 26 for me. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I'm very underwhelming season. Even with Ryan Tannehill, they weren't projected to use Will Levis, and they were kind of, their hand was kind of forced with, Malik Willis really not living up to any kind of sort of hype, talent, anything like that. So it does look like it's in Will Levis's hands at this point. But yeah, Titans very underwhelming this season. So Titans at 26, we're at 25. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Falcons. I'm right there with you. The Falcons, the most consistently one of the most consistently inconsistent teams all season long. They would beat teams that they weren't supposed to beat. They would lose to teams that they were absolutely supposed to destroy. They weren't able to hold leads. They weren't able to convert easy touchdowns to win games and stuff like that. So the Falcons definitely underwhelming. Arthur Smith now removed, now moving on to Pittsburgh to be one of their coordinators. We'll see what happens there. At 24, we're going to go with the New York Jets. New York Jets. Obviously with Aaron Rodgers getting injured 4 plays into the year, obviously not ideal, but they did the best that they could do. At the end of the day, though, Zach Wilson showed flashes. Other than that, the defense is going to be solid, but yeah, very, very underwhelming. 23, we are going to go I'm actually going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings were a lot more disappointing, even with Kirk being injured. They still weren't performing.
Justin Jefferson got hurt too.
I understand, but they still weren't performing well. It's not like they were. Yeah. It's not like
they were until Kirk got hurt. They were performing pretty well.
They were bouncing. They were coming back a little bit. They were in the mix. I'll say that they were in the mix. At the end of the day, though, I'll say this: Kirk getting injured, that's great. This day and age, with how prevalent injuries are to rosters, you got to have backups. You can't be trading for a guy who was a starting quarterback for the Cardinals.
I can't think of a team who's had a backup that's come in and done a good job. I can't think of any.
Don't you start.
I can't think of like a third quarterback that came in and did anything.
Don't you start it. Don't you fucking start. Yeah, but exactly.
Three quarterbacks going down and someone's stepping up. Are you going to get him off the training camp?
Dude, that guy may have been the last pick in the draft. I don't know. So 23, the Minnesota Vikings. 22, we are going to go with the Denver Broncos. Definitely with all the hype, all the expectation coming into the season, lackluster. And then how they're ending the relationship with Russell. Just bad news bears over there in Denver. Very Sean Payton. Yeah, just not good. Not good at all. 22, around 22 or 21? 26 was Titans, 25 was the Falcons, 24 was the Jets, 23 was the Vikings, 22 was the Broncos, 21. I won't do it to them. 21, we're going to go with the Chicago Bears. I think the Chicago Bears finished the season incredibly strong. And I think heading into next season, if you're a Chicago Bears fan, honestly, every year you're told to have faith. But next season, honestly, Justin Fields, if they can get him an O-line, if him and Matt Eberflus can kind of work together for one more season, maybe get more synergy, who knows what you have there. But yeah, I think at 21, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. And I think, Justin Fields, solid quarterback. All this flack about Caleb Williams and blah blah blah. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Until I see it, yeah, I think Justin Fields is just fine where he's at, and if you give him the right stuff, I think he will be just fine. All right, that was 21. Give me 22-15.
So I'm gonna echo kind of the same thing. Obviously, Bears had a pretty good end of the season. Got to go with the Bears at 20. I ranked them a little bit higher, but that's totally fine.
I like it. I like it.
And after that, I'm going to go with Seattle at 19. I just think that, they just got obliterated by the division. They couldn't get into the playoffs. They paid Geno all this money. PJ Walker got Rookie of the Year. They had DK Metcalf. They got not Doug Baldwin. What's his name? Tyler Lockett. They've got like they're paying like the highest safety tandem in the NFL with Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I just had to put them at 19. I really don't think they had a great year. I really don't. And then at 18, I got to go with the Saints. What?
Nothing. That's just funny. 19. That's hilarious. Okay.
Why is that funny?
Because I would have put a completely different team in that spot, and I will. But that's just I like it. I like it, dude.
18. I gotta go with the Saints. They did all right. I had higher expectations with adding Derek Carr. I just did. I thought that they'd play better. I mean, obviously you have Alvin Kamara. We saw Michael Thomas come out of retirement. We didn't know where he was, but he came back. You got one of your all-time favorite players in the entire NFL history. I mean, we're talking all the way back to George Bush days, Tyrann Mathieu. So he's there too. So the Saints 18, and then 17. I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I just think that they were whatever, but they're like in the middle of the pack. What was that? 17?
Yeah. No, it's 16. 17
was 16.
16. Hang on.
Are you sure?
No, 20 was 20 was the Bears, 19 was the Seahawks, 18 was the Saints. Yeah, you're on 17. Sorry.
17 was the freaking Steelers.
Okay. 17 was the Steelers.
And then 16 is the Bengals. 16 is the Bengals.
Okay.
I thought the Bengals did well, losing the best quarterback in the league, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. To finish the way they did, I was surprised, to be honest, because you take him out of the equation, that's a rough situation to be a part of. True. And then at 15, I got the Indianapolis Colts. Thought they had a pretty decent season.
Really?
But, yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, very interesting. Okay. Really? Okay, 20, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think the Raiders were able to, despite all the drama that surrounds the Raiders franchise year in and year out, for whatever reason. I mean, that's where they're the most comfortable, it seems, when they are losing coaches, getting interim coaches, having to come back, win games. So the Raiders, I'm going to go with 20. Antonio Pierce now getting the job for the official head coaching position. Congratulations to him. We'll see what happens there. They do need a quarterback. Aiden O'Connell is not the guy. Jimmy G, I mean, we know, not the guy. So Raiders at 2019, definitely not the Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville, most underwhelming team, I think, this season, but still managed to get a 9-8 record. Trevor Lawrence definitely was injured, did factor into them not making the playoffs. They're kind of nuking themselves there at the end of the season. But yeah, Jacksonville, I mean, choking away the division last game of the year, choking away a playoff position last game of the year. You're getting 19 from me. 18. 18. I mean, yeah, this one's tough. 18. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Out of the other one
position off.
I actually, no, 18. Actually, I take that back. 18, I'm gonna go with the Saints. 18, actually, I stand firm with the Saints. The Saints, mediocrity. I mean, Derek Carr, mediocrity. You got Chris Olave. I mean, you definitely got a weapon there if you can get him a consistent quarterback. Alvin Kamara is going to do what Alvin Kamara did. And then, Tyrann Mathieu, Super Bowl champion, getting a Super Bowl against the Niners. I mean, yeah, kind of one of my favorite players of all time. Big moment for me as a fan of his when he won the Super Bowl against the Niners. But the Saints 18, very underwhelming. At 17, we'll go with the Seahawks. I mean, very run of the mill. Pete Carroll now retiring, moving on. Seahawks, very run of the mill season.
Mike McDonald, they got from the Ravens.
Yeah, defensive coordinator. Who had it? We'll talk.
You have to have a defense, though.
Yeah, and if you saw the review episode, the Ravens defense did put on a good show, but we'll see what happens with Mike McDonald. Pete Carroll, done there. DK Metcalf, that's going to be interesting there to see what happens there. Like you said, you paid Geno Smith all this money. Are you really going to be that invested in Geno Smith? I don't know. Seahawks, 17. At 16, we're going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. Gardner Minshew, I mean, man, oh man, coming in, making the most of what he can do. I like it. Missing the playoffs by one game. Anthony Richardson looks like possibly a franchise quarterback there in Indianapolis. And then Indianapolis is one of those teams where if you just give them a good quarterback, I mean, they are very under the radar, scary good, because they just have a bunch of like decent to good receivers who just do enough that you don't really expect are going to do anything. And then boom, they just run all over you. So the Colts, maybe a team to watch for the next couple seasons, but yeah, I got them at 16. And then 15, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I do think the Bengals, barring everything that they went through this season with Joey missing, the first 4 games and then coming back and then getting hurt for the rest of the season, Jake Browning coming in and actually playing well and then getting 1 game away from the playoffs. And if we were in the NFC, we actually would have made the playoffs, which is hilarious. So, the Bengals, did all that they could to fight and claw and get their way to in a good position. And Jake Browning proved to be a hell of a backup. So the Bengals, I'm going to have at 15. We'll see what happens with T. Higgins. Hopefully we can re-sign him. If we can't, we got $59 million in cap space. I mean, Jetta, come on home, baby. Come on home. I mean, you don't like him, but Odell Beckham Jr., come on home. Super Bowl's in Louisiana next year. You boys want to go home and have a party? Now is the time. Other than that, I want T. Higgins to stay more than anything. I love T. T is the man. This guy has carried us in times that we desperately needed a star receiver. So T. Higgins, please stay. But this year is going to be very interesting in the offseason. Bengals, get my 15 spot. All right, 14 to 9. What do you got for me?
So, yeah, I'll put the Jaguars at 14. Yeah, they had a pretty rough season. That's for sure. Okay. I just think that, next year will be a little bit different. But, yeah, I had higher hopes for them. But, they had some really good wins this year, too. So, I just think that, there was that one win they needed to get. But I will say that Trevor wasn't fully healthy. So it was tough for them.
Yep.
So I'll have them at 14. And then at 13, I have the Bucks. I think the Bucks were a good team, but I think that they just they didn't really have any really big wins. Where I was like, where I was like, okay, yeah, that this team is amazing or anything like that. They kind of they barely beat Carolina in that game, 9-0. They had some games that they lost to the Saints where there's games that they should have won. So I was just, they're still in that top 13, but I can't put them any higher than that. 12, I'm going to put the Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think the Eagles didn't have that good of a season. I thought that, they losing 6 of their last 7 games, like that's unacceptable for a team that just got out of the Super Bowl and almost won the Super Bowl.
Agree.
So I gotta put them there at number 12.
Okay.
Let's see here. I have at number 11. I got the Houston Texans. They almost cracked the top 10 for me. They were a really good team this year. Very surprising.
Okay. I like your list.
Yeah.
I like your list. Okay.
Yeah. Very, very surprising year for me. They did really, really well. I obviously credit to CJ Stroud. They were very close to cracking the top 10 teams. So that's impressive in and of itself because they were like bottom of the bottom for the last couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah. I really think that they were right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 10, I got let me see. And then number 10, I got the Rams. Number 10, okay. I got the Rams. I thought that they had a really good year. Puka Nacua broke out. Obviously Matt Stafford, great year for him. And, I just think that it was a impressive season for the Rams. Just given that they've lost a lot of people and things like that, I just did not expect them to be, me to be scared of them, So
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And then number 9, I have the Cleveland Browns. I think the Cleveland Browns.
What you? Okay. All right. I want to hear this explanation for when you say this team. Okay. All right. The Browns at 9. Browns at 9. Okay.
The Browns at 9, just one of the best defenses in the league for sure. But I think it was just the way that they got destroyed by the Texans. Just that kind of bumped them down a little bit for me.
Okay.
Just obviously I didn't expect a rookie quarterback to carve them up the way he did on that defense.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's why kind of it's in the back of my mind, like, okay, they're good, but they're not as good as I thought because they got bounced immediately. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Okay, I like it. Yeah. I mean, the Browns, definitely a very underwhelming end to their season. 14 for me, I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin somehow, some way has managed to have a winning season every single season. But yeah, that defense carried them most of the year, and then that offense was just flat. I mean, Mason Rudolph, of course, goes off the last 2 games because nobody has tape on this guy. Of course, it's against the Bengals too. But yeah, I mean, 14 for me. At 13, this one's tough. This one can go back and forth for me. At 13, I'm just going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. For the simple fact that they did get knocked out in the wild card round, and the next 2 teams I'm going to say advanced. But I do think that the Rams, I mean, at the end of the year when they started to get healthy, like you said, I mean, you do not want to see them in the playoffs. And they took Detroit for everything that they were worth, losing by 1 point. So, that game had everything you could possibly want. Puka Nacua, star is born. Cooper Kupp when healthy. I mean, it's just an absolute legend. You got Kieran Williams, the running back now. I mean, this guy, what a find. Absolute stud. And then Matt Stafford. I mean, love him, hate him, whatever you feel about him. Dude is a definite Hall of Famer. And bro is just an absolute gamer of a quarterback. So they're going to get the 13 spot. My 12 spot, I like your thinking, my friend. Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, the number 12 spot is going to go to the Philadelphia Eagles for the exact same reasons that you said. What an absolute crumble. What an absolute crumble at the end of the season. The Niners absolutely dismantling them. Basically putting a fork in them, and then the Cowboys the next week. Basically you're done. Put a fork in them and you're done, basically. So the Cowboys and the Niners, just absolutely ended the Philadelphia Eagles. Niners gave the formula and everybody else followed. So we'll see what happens going forward for the Eagles if they're able to make adjustments, changes, because they're going to need to. because the Niners figured them out. I mean, you put that tape on for anybody, you can beat the Eagles, and it showed the last weeks of the season. So 12th spot, definitely going to the Eagles. Number 12 or number 11, excuse me, is going to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, absolute baller, going on a team-friendly deal to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, winning the division, taking them to the playoffs, knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles, and then he had an okay game against Detroit. He had 2 stupid interceptions, but he had 3 good touchdowns. So it's 3 touchdowns, right? Yeah, 3 touchdowns. Yeah. So I mean, he had 3 good touchdowns against Detroit. So Baker Mayfield securing that 11th spot. Number 10 is going to go to the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love was on fire to end the season. 20-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Absolutely embarrassing the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington, in Jerry's house, and then going on the road and taking the Niners for every single thing that they had, going blow for blow, toe for toe, taking it to the final seconds of the game. So the Packers solidify that number 10 spot. Jordan Love possibly has solidified himself also as the franchise quarterback. And then number 9. Number 9, we're going to go, honestly, with the Miami Dolphins. Miami, what an absolute tragic end to what was set up to be a stellar season. My man Tyreek Hill was 500 yards from getting 2,000 yards. And he was 1,500 yards like in week 15. He had 3 more weeks to go to easily eclipse that. Dolphins folded like a folding chair, man. Folded like a folding table. Folded like a folded pair of sheets. I mean, good God. And they were on Hard Knocks, and I'll be honest, watching their Hard Knocks is hard to watch. Hearing Mike McDaniels talk, I'll be honest, I can only take him in spurts. It's just something about the way he says stuff. It's just, you can see the players not respond to it. Like, you can visually see the players not respond to it. So, Miami Dolphins got to figure it out. Firing Vic Fangio, I don't think is going to do it. So the Dolphins solidifying that number 9 spot. Numbers 8 through 3. Bada bing, bada boom. Give it to me.
Number 8, I was just 1 off from you on that. I got Miami Dolphins at number 8. They just had a really rough end of their season. You had opportunities to close out the Bills and get, home field. Then you squandered that game. Then you go to Kansas City and you get obliterated. And then I got to roll with them at number 8. Number 7, I got to go with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, what a letdown season for them. We all fell for it, right? We all fell for the Mount Everest. Like, this could be an opportunity for them to get to the NFC Championship game. I don't think anybody was thinking Super Bowl, but people were like, okay, they're going to win a couple games in the playoffs. Yeah. They're probably going to get bounced by the Niners, but they're going to, for them to get, I can't put them any higher after they got destroyed by Green Bay.
I like it.
And then, you know what? At number 6, I'm going to put the Green Bay Packers. I thought they had a great season. Okay. Yeah. I thought that they were a top 16, top 16 this year. I really do, and it felt like they were a top 3 team in our conference. I thought it was, the Niners, the Lions, and the Packers, the best teams in the conference when it's all said and done. And so I can see that. That's just how I felt, I mean, it seems a little high for them, I bet you everybody at 10, but I had to put them there at number 6. And then number 5, this one was a little bit tough, but you know what? I got to go with the Bills. The Bills, they definitely let me down. I think they let everybody down. We had one task for them to accomplish, and they fell short. And you know what? At number 4, I got to put the Detroit Lions. Just a really good season. I never thought that they were going to be, number 4 team in the league. I just never imagined. This was a tough one. It was between them and the Ravens, obviously. The Ravens, like I said all year, like I said towards the end of the year, the Ravens are due for a bad game. They hadn't had a bad game. and it unfortunately happened at the wrong time. I still think that if you put the Ravens against the Lions, the Ravens are beating that team. Was my only.
I like it.
That was my only kind of synopsis on that. Is how do I pick which one's better here? Because I feel like they're both even in different ways. Ravens just have a little bit better of a defense, a lot better of a defense. So, got to put them at number 3.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Yeah, for number 8 for me, kicking us off at number 8, we're going to go with the Cleveland Browns. Yes, Cleveland Browns obviously going through the most quarterbacks, going through 4 starting quarterbacks and still making the playoffs. First time that has ever happened. Joe Flacco absolutely putting this team on his back and carrying them into the playoffs, giving Amari Cooper one of the greatest single season games you will ever see. And of course, it was against me in fantasy playoffs,
Of course.
Go F me, right? Yeah, F me, right? Yeah, exactly. So Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco, I know got destroyed against the Houston Texans, but Joe Flacco, I mean, I did not think that he was going to be able to keep the Browns relevant. And not only did he keep them relevant, but they had a lot of momentum at home against the Houston Texans in that game. At number 7, we're going to go with the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud. Star is born, superstar in the making. Oh my goodness. Not only did he absolutely put on a show against the Cincinnati Bengals, he went into Cleveland and destroyed the Cleveland Browns. So as far as I'm concerned, CJ Stroud owns Ohio. And I mean, he's from Ohio State, right? Exactly. So far, CJ Stroud is the king of Ohio. Joey needs to reclaim this title because he destroyed both the Bengals and the Browns. Going in at number 7. At number 6, yeah, we're going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. Super underwhelming. Great regular season, like always. Super underwhelming playoff performance. Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy. Changes need to be made. No changes are going to be made. We're going to run with the same squad. They're running it back next season. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the Cowboys solidifying that number 6 spot. At number 5, we're going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Yes, Buffalo Bills getting that number 5 spot. Come on, Buffalo. Come on, man. Come on. Josh Allen, fix your turnover problem. Stephon Diggs, catch the damn ball. Stop watching conference championship ceremonies. Just catch the ball, and you can be in one. It's that simple. Just catch the ball. Josh Allen, make better decisions when the game is on the line. Stop chucking the ball at the ground into the end zone for no apparent reason at all. That's all I got to say about the Buffalo Bills, because that's what their season came down to. Those 3 plays. That's basically what it came down to. Number 4 is the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, Baltimore. Yeah, only putting up 10 points in their conference championship game at home as the 1 seed after a bye. Unacceptable. Lamar Jackson playing like absolute dog crap. I mean, yeah, it was not a good sight to see at all if you're a Ravens fan. And that means number 3. Yes, I can't believe that the number 3 team for me in an NFL season was the Detroit Rolling Motor City Lions, who put on one hell of a performance against the San Francisco 49ers. And it goes to show that when you gamble, you just lose. Take the points when you have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. This is not a week 5 game, Dan. Detroit Lions shocking the world, just putting every NFL fan on their back. If you were not playing them, if you were playing them, obviously you're rooting for your team. If you weren't, you're rooting for the Detroit Lions. And man, oh man, what a show they gave us. The 2 home games and then the game against San Francisco. Detroit Lions a team to watch heading into next season. Ben Johnson saying no to coaching jobs, willing to stay a coordinator, willing to help work with Jared Goff, willing to stay with this team. What is going to happen with the Detroit Lions in 2024, 2025? I am very excited to see. But Detroit Lions, an absolutely incredible season. And they put up 31 points. They represented how you should in a championship game, even if you lose. you put up points. And for that reason, and for that reason alone, they are number 3. All that leaves is 2-1, which means we got 1 game left. We got the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. We got the San Francisco 49ers, because they are the visiting team. We got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs to decide who will be the best team of the NFL, of the 2023-2024 NFL season. That's going to do it. That is going to do it for our power rankings, our review, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the review edition of the NFL season. 32-3, our power rankings laid out, ready to go. There you have it. Brandon, any last words for the people?
Yeah, pretty good rankings there, Jake. I think we were pretty similar on a lot of those. I think that we just, obviously, very unexpected with some of those this season. Like you said, Detroit potentially being at 3 and 4 spot, and then obviously some of those at the bottom of the barrel. You're like, what is going on here? So, credit to teams like Detroit and Houston. They've really pulled it together this season, and I'm excited to see young teams like that, and see what they do next year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited to see these young teams and see where the season shapes out next season. We got a Super Bowl in New Orleans next season. Man, oh man, it's going to be exciting. I cannot wait. We got 1 game left, and then we're on to the off season where, we'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. That's going to do it for this edition of The Good and the Bad, the Ugly. I am Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys. He is Brandon Sullivan, the other half of the Sports Guys. And until our Super Bowl picks episode, Brandon and Jake, we're out.